Stop scrolling and take a deep breath. In a 2026 world that moves way too fast, there is nothing more healing than going back to the exact living room couch where we first watched Punky Brewster. One star became a best-selling author and documentary filmmaker. Another quietly walked away from Hollywood and never looked back. And one beloved cast member left us just weeks ago. Let's pull back the curtain and see where the cast of Punky Brewster truly is in 2026. Number 1, we have Soleil Frye as Penelope Punky Brewster. Born on August 6, 1976, Soleil was just 8 years old when she walked onto that NBC set in 1984. And today, in 2026, she is 49 years old, radiating the same fearless energy that made Punky a household name 4 decades ago. Here is something most people forget. Before she ever put on those mismatched socks, little Soleil beat out over 3,000 other girls at the audition, including a young Melissa Joan Hart, who would later become her co-star on Sabrina the Teenage Witch. The universe had a plan for both of them, but that day, it chose Soleil. And what Punky gave us was more than comedy. She was the little girl who taught an entire generation of kids that it was okay to be abandoned, okay to be different, okay to be loud and brave and covered in rainbow colors. Because love does not come from where you were born. Love comes from the people who choose to stay. Henry Warnimont chose to stay for Punky, and millions of us wished, deep down, that someone would choose to stay for us, too. After the original show ended, Soleil kept working, voicing Zoe Hauser in Disney's The Proud Family franchise, joining the cast of Sabrina the Teenage Witch as Roxy King, and hosting Homemade Simple on the Oprah Winfrey Network. She published her memoir, Happy Chaos, From Punky to Parenting and My Perfectly Imperfect Adventures in Between, and co-founded an eco-friendly children's brand called The Little Seed. In 2021, she reprised the role of Punky for a Peacock revival, and although it only lasted 1 season, the reunion proved that the love for Punky never faded. Most recently, Soleil stepped behind the camera to direct The Carters, Hurts to Love You, a Paramount Plus documentary exploring the story of the Carter family through the lens of mental health awareness. In 2025 and 2026, she has been lighting up fan conventions across the country, from Nashville to Salt Lake City to Puyallup, Washington, meeting the generation she raised through a television screen. She is a mother of 4, an entrepreneur, a director, and still, after all these years, Punky. Some stars fade. Soleil Frye simply found more ways to shine. Number 2, we have Cherie Johnson as Cherie Johnson. Yes, the character was literally named after her. Born on November 21, 1975 in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, Cherie was just 8 years old when she joined the show, and today, in 2026, she is 50 years old. And trust us, she has been anything but idle. Here is a piece of behind-the-scenes magic most fans never knew. The entire character of Cherie was created by her real-life uncle, David W. Duclon, who was the show's creator and executive producer. He had originally envisioned his niece for the lead role of Punky herself, but when Soleil won that part, Duclon built an entirely new character, modeled on and named after his own niece, so she could still be part of the show. That is how much he believed in her talent. And Cherie delivered. For all 4 seasons, she was Punky's ride-or-die best friend, the girl who got locked in a refrigerator in one of the most terrifying episodes in sitcom history and taught an entire generation about the dangers of playing near old appliances. That scene alone saved lives, literal lives. That is not an exaggeration. After Punky Brewster ended, Cherie seamlessly transitioned into another beloved role, Maxine Max Johnson on Family Matters, where she played Laura Winslow's best friend for 8 seasons from 1990 to 1998. 2 decades, 2 iconic best friend roles. No one in television history has done that quite like Cherie Johnson. But here is where her story gets even more interesting. Cherie is also a published author. She has written multiple novels, including Around the World Twice, Peaches and Cream, and Stupid Guy's Diary. She is a certified nutritionist, a homeschool mother, a film producer with over a dozen credits, and a contributing writer to several magazines. She reprised her role as Cherie in the 2021 Peacock revival, and she continues to appear at fan conventions and nerd culture events. She serves on the Alzheimer's Association board and works with children's charities. Cherie Johnson turned one childhood role into a lifelong mission of creativity, wellness, and giving back. That is not just a career. That is a legacy. Now, before we continue, we need to pause, because our next story is one that carries a weight this channel rarely has to bear. Number 3, we honor T.K. Carter as Mike Fulton. Thomas Kent Carter was born on December 18, 1956 in New York City, and was 28 years old when he joined Punky Brewster as the lovable maintenance worker and aspiring comedian Mike Fulton during seasons 1 and 2. Mike Fulton was the guy who brought levity and warmth to every scene he entered. He was the building's handyman, yes, but for the kids, he was something more. He was the cool older brother figure, the one who cracked jokes when things felt heavy, the one who reminded us that laughter is its own kind of repair work. Before Punky, TK had already made his mark in Hollywood, most notably as Knowles, the roller skating cook in John Carpenter's legendary 1982 horror film, The Thing. He also appeared in Runaway Train, 1985, Ski Patrol, 1990, and Space Jam, 1996. His career spanned stand-up comedy, film, and television for over 4 decades. On January 9th, 2026, just weeks before this video, T.K. Carter passed away at the age of 69 at his home in Duarte, California. No foul play was suspected. He was a man who dedicated his entire adult life to making people laugh. We do not dwell in sadness on this channel. Instead, we honor the truth. T.K. Carter made the world lighter. Every scene he graced on Punky Brewster, every joke he delivered on every set he ever walked onto, it all mattered. His warmth lives on in every rerun, every clip, every memory. Rest easy, TK. You earned it. If you thought that transformation was surprising, wait until you see who is coming up next. One of our cast members walked away from Hollywood as a teenager and built an entirely different life. One that proves you do not need a spotlight to find happiness. Number 4, we have Amy Foster as Margaux Kramer. Born on August 5th, 1975, Amy was just 9 years old when she joined the cast, and today, in 2026, she is 50 years old, living proof that sometimes the bravest thing a child star can do is simply walk away. Let us talk about Margaux for a moment. She was the rich girl, the snobby one, the one with the designer outfits and the perfectly curled hair. On paper, she should have been the villain of the show. But Amy Foster played her with such sweetness underneath the surface that Margaux became something far more interesting. She became the friend who reminded us that people are never just one thing. Even the girl with everything still needed Punky's friendship. And that is a lesson that holds up beautifully in 2026. Before Punky Brewster, Amy had already won the National Tap Dance Championship at age 5 and appeared on Ed McMahon's Star Search as a junior singer finalist. During the show's run, she appeared on Circus of the Stars, sharing an act with Corey Yothers. After the show ended, she lent her voice to Sally Brown and Lucy Van Pelt in animated Peanuts specials, and played Holly in the cartoon Pound Puppies. Her last acting role before stepping away was in a 1995 episode of CBS School Break Special. And then, silence. Beautiful, intentional silence. Amy Foster chose something radical, a private life. She got married, had a daughter named Tessa, born in 2003, and quietly built a world far from red carpets and audition rooms. Then, in 2021, she surprised everyone by returning for a guest appearance in the Punky Brewster revival, reprising Margaux Kramer one more time. It was a gift to fans everywhere, a reminder that the bond between those characters never really broke. Amy Foster traded the spotlight for something money cannot buy: peace, and we celebrate every single moment of it. Number 5, we have Casey Ellison as Alan Anderson. Born on March 2, 1976 in California, Casey was just 8 years old when he joined the show, and today, in 2026, he is 50 years old, living what might be the most quietly triumphant second act of anyone on this list. Alan Anderson was the nerdy, lovable boy in Punky's crew, the kid who was always slightly awkward, always a little unsure of himself, but always there when it mattered. For kids watching at home who felt like they did not quite fit in, Alan was their mirror. He said, "You belong here too." Casey appeared in 24 episodes across the first 2 seasons and also voiced his character in the animated spin-off It's Punky Brewster. He simultaneously held a recurring role on Mr. Belvedere as Miles Knobnoster, and later guest starred on Newhart, 21 Jump Street, and The Wonder Years. And then, Casey made a choice that deserves applause. He stepped away from the camera and stepped behind it. His IMDb credits show work in camera and electrical departments, including on the 2012 film Seeking a Friend for the End of the World. He traded the stage for the craft of filmmaking itself. He is also a proud father. His Instagram bio reads, "Proud Papa, music lover, Star Wars button panel master, Weird Al wannabe." He once shared that he still has a book that his co-star George Gaynes gave him during a field trip to Griffith Observatory, and a signed baseball from Bob Uecker from his time on Mr. Belvedere. Casey Ellison did not disappear. He simply chose a life defined not by fame, but by craft, fatherhood, and quiet joy. Not every hero needs a spotlight, and Casey proved it decades before anyone turned it into a hashtag. While some of our cast members chose quiet lives, our next 2 stars left behind legacies that stretched far beyond the walls of that Chicago apartment. Stay with us, because their stories are ones you need to hear. Number 6. We honor Susie Garrett as Betty Johnson, Cherie's wise, warm, no-nonsense grandmother. Susie was born on December 29, 1929 in Detroit, Michigan. She was 54 years old when she began playing Betty Johnson, and she appeared in 85 of the show's 88 episodes, making her one of the most present and essential adults in the entire series. Betty Johnson was the quiet backbone of Punky Brewster. While Henry Warnimont got the big emotional arcs, Betty was the steady hand, the grandmother who kept things running, who dispensed wisdom with a side of sass, and who proved that family is not about bloodlines. It is about showing up. Betty showed up every single day. What most fans never knew is that Susie Garrett had no professional acting experience before the show. She was a jazz singer in Detroit nightclubs, a psychology student, and a mother of 4 sons. Her younger sister is the legendary Marla Gibbs, Florence Johnston on The Jeffersons, and Mary Jenkins on 227. It was television producer Aaron Spelling who first spotted Susie performing in the stage play 227, the very play that inspired the TV series, and helped her sign with NBC. Together, Susie and Marla co-founded the Crossroads Arts Academy Theater and Los Angeles, an acting school that gave opportunities to aspiring performers for years. Susie Garrett passed away on May 24, 2002, at Providence Hospital in Southfield, Michigan, at the age of 72. She had fought a courageous battle with cancer, but her legacy stretches far beyond that hospital room. She proved that it is never too late to chase a dream. She walked onto a television set in her 50s with no formal training and became a beloved figure in millions of living rooms. That is not luck. That is destiny answering the call of someone brave enough to pick up the phone. Number 7, we have Dody Goodman as Mrs. Morton, Punky's wonderfully scatterbrained schoolteacher. Born Dolores Goodman on October 28, 1914 in Columbus, Ohio, Dody was already 70 years old when she joined Punky Brewster in 1984. Let that sink in. 70 years old, and she was still stealing scenes with effortless comedic timing. Mrs. Morton was the teacher every kid secretly wished they had. A little forgetful, a little confused, but endlessly kind. She was the adult in the room who never quite felt like an adult, and that made her absolutely magical to watch. But Dody Goodman's career was staggeringly vast, long before Punky ever walked into her classroom. She danced on Broadway in the 1940s and 50s, including the original production of Wonderful Town alongside Rosalind Russell. She became a national sensation on The Tonight Show with Jack Paar in the late 1950s, where her delightfully dizzy persona made her a fan favorite. She played the unforgettable Blanche Hodel in Grease, 1978, and Grease 2, 1982. She voiced Miss Miller, guardian of the Chipettes, in the animated Alvin and the Chipmunks series, and she earned an Emmy nomination as early as 1958. Dody Goodman passed away peacefully on June 22, 2008, at the age of 93, at Englewood Hospital in New Jersey. She had been living at the Lillian Booth Actors Home since 2007, still appearing at special events past the age of 90. 93 years of life, 7 decades of performing, a career that stretched from wartime Broadway to Saturday morning cartoons. Dody Goodman did not just live. She danced through every single decade of the 20th century, leaving a trail of laughter behind her. But we cannot complete this journey without honoring the true heartbeat of the show. George Gaynes as Henry Warnimont. Born George Jongajans on May 16, 1917 in Helsinki, Finland, back when it was still part of the Russian Empire, George was 67 years old when he first sat down across from little Punky Brewster and changed television forever. Think about that for a moment. Most actors at 67 are winding down. George Gaynes was just getting started on the role that would define his legacy. Henry Warnimont was a grumpy, set-in-his-ways photographer who lived alone and liked it that way, until a 7-year-old girl in mismatched socks knocked on his door and refused to leave. And slowly, reluctantly, beautifully, Henry's heart opened. He became the father figure that Punky desperately needed and that millions of kids at home wished they had. What made Henry so powerful was not that he was perfect. He was awkward. He did not know how to braid hair or pack a lunch. He got frustrated. He said the wrong thing. But he stayed. He chose that little girl again and again, every single episode. And in doing so, Henry Warnimont became one of the most quietly revolutionary father figures in television history, proving that parenthood is not about biology. It is about choice. George Gaynes himself lived a life that could fill 10 scripts. He was raised across Finland, France, England, and Switzerland. He spoke 7 languages fluently. He served in the Royal Netherlands Navy during World War II, participating in the Allied invasion of Sicily and the Battle of Anzio. He was an opera singer who studied at the Music School of Milan. He performed on Broadway alongside Rosalind Russell in Wonderful Town. He played Commandant Lassard in the entire Police Academy film series. He appeared alongside Dustin Hoffman in Tootsie. He was married to actress and dancer Alan Ann McCleary for 62 years, from 1953 until his passing. 62 years. That is not just a marriage. That is a masterpiece. George Gaynes passed away on February 15, 2016, at his daughter's home in North Bend, Washington, at the age of 98. He had lived nearly a century that included war, opera, Broadway, Hollywood, fatherhood, and the quiet joy of being the man that millions of children trusted with their hearts every week. They may be gone, but their magic is eternal, living on in every rerun, every quote, and every smile they brought to our childhood living rooms. Now, before you go, we have a little challenge for you, and we need the true Punky Brewster fans to step up. Quick trivia. In the show, Punky had a famous dog who was practically a cast member himself. What was his name? Was it A, Bradley, or B, Brandon? Drop your answer in the comments and let us see who the real fans are. And let us do a quick living room roll call. What exact year were you born, and how old were you when you first experienced this masterpiece? Tell us in the comments. We want to see which generation loved Punky the most. And finally, here is the beautiful truth. We grew up right alongside this cast. If you could go back in time to the exact living room where you first watched this show, who would you want sitting on the couch next to you one more time? Honor your loved ones in the comments below and subscribe to keep our golden memories alive. Until next time, stay brave, stay kind, and never stop wearing mismatched socks.